Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Monday. It is the 7th day of November, 2022. I hope that you had a good weekend. I hope that you are safe and healthy and that your family is also safe and healthy and had a good weekend, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field and those who are the first responders who every day try to save lives, and those who pick up garbage for us to keep streets and sidewalks and highways and parks clean. And those also that make deliveries of food and water and things like mail for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women who are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the teenagers and the children who are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia. The victims also of pornography and child pornography. The victims also of prostitution and child prostitution. The victims also of human trafficking and sex slavery. And double curses on the perpetrators, the profiteers, and those perverts that drive this hideous industry. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. There's nearly 600,000 men, women, and children on the streets of the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions, and blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So, there's going to be a basketball game tonight. The New York Knicks are playing a game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I had predicted at the beginning of the season that the first 10 games, the Knicks would be in good shape going forward if they can go 5-5. A win tonight makes them 5-5. Even if they lose, though, and they go 4-6, it's not the end of the world. But what today's video is about is not the game tonight, because I feel like the Knicks can win this game. Today, we're going to talk about defense. Okay. Before I get started into the meat of this, a couple of things. First, we see the Knicks have been giving up a lot of points in the last couple of games, especially. But some of you question Tom Thibodeau as a defensive coach. I find this both short-sighted and completely disrespectful. I mean, I know we get emotional about the Knicks and about sports. I understand that. But some of you get unreasonable, almost to the point of something wrong with you. All of a sudden, a man that's been coaching defense for 20 years in the NBA has forgotten how to coach defense because what? They give up some points in the beginning of a season? What is wrong with some of y'all? Tom Thibodeau knows how to coach defense. So the real question is, what is wrong with the New York Knicks defense that they're giving up so many points? That's a logical question. But to question his resume as a defensive coach is stupid. The man is a defensive coach his whole career. I could see if you question him offensively in terms of any imaginative offense or anything innovative offensively. But defensively, you got no leg to stand on except these few games here. And let's examine now these few games. First off, we saw, in fact, I was looking at this year's Knicks team, the stats as far as 5-man combinations in Basketball Reference. It's still early. So, some of you that are dying and crapping on, some of you use an excuse to crap on people. I think you need some outlet for your frustrations. Okay, go ahead and go at it with Tom. But if you're going to look at it logically, if you're going to look at it objectively, you have to understand that there's more at work here than Tom Thibodeau's lack of understanding of defense. So, I'm looking at the 5-man combinations, and I'm looking at combinations that have played at least a quarter together, which means at least 12 minutes. Okay. Because to me, at least a quarter, you get a good glimpse of what that can become. So there are a combination of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 combinations that have played 13 minutes or more, actually, this year so far. Now, in those combinations of 13 minutes or more, the negative ones, you have a negative 12, which is starting 5, RJ Barrett, Brunson, Fournier, Randall, and Robinson. And then you have a negative 7 with Hartenstein, Quickly, Reddish, Rose, and Toppin. That's played 62 minutes together. Then you have a negative 8.3, 31 minutes, almost 32 minutes with Barrett, Brunson, Fournier, Hartenstein, and Randall. And so I'm looking at this, and the guy's name that comes up the most, obviously, is Fournier. So last year, we had made note of this earlier when we were talking about the battle between Fournier and Grimes and even Cam for minutes in the rotation, and especially in starters minutes. And I remember mentioning, and I remember y'all heard Fournier say, he was interviewed by SNY or Madison Square Garden, I can't remember which one, but he said it took him half a season last year to get used to the defense. And that's why it was so bad early, that he got used to it later. And then Tom Thibodeau kind of backed that up and said, we got better as a defense as the season went on. Okay. So that being the case, you would expect that he would not need half a season this year to get acclimated to the defense, that he, having played a whole season with the defense, would come in prepared. But that was not the case. So I mentioned this about a week or so ago. We talked about it. And as it turns out, I didn't think Fournier was going to remove him. And a lot of us thought he should. On Friday, he did. He removed Fournier from the starting unit and he put Grimes in there. Problem was, Grimes was in no way prepared to even play. He had just come back from foot injury. He hadn't even been able to practice much. He practiced a little bit last week, but he obviously wasn't prepared. Okay. So then he puts in Cam on Saturday, and that was a lot better. But the problem is, if you pay attention at all, the Tom Thibodeau defense, his defenses are predicated on a rim protector, starting with Joakim Noah and then Mitchell Robinson. He needs a rim protector for his defense to really work. Okay. Mitch Rob got hurt against Philly. That throws Thibs off. Okay. He needs the rim protector. I mean, that's just how his defenses are. Hartenstein hustles. Hartenstein tries hard. Hartenstein has a 3-point shot, but he is not a rim protector like Mitchell Robinson. Okay. He does do some rim protection, but he's not Mitchell Robinson. Okay. So that throws off everything. On top of the fact that he put Grimes in on Friday, then he brings Cam now, which was better, on Saturday night against the Boston Celtics, and you're starting to see some better cohesion offensively, but defensively, not there. Okay. So now he's got to make adjustments to make up for the lack of Mitchell Robinson. Now, when you look at the same chart, there's 35 and a half minutes for Reddish, Randall, Hartenstein, Brunson, and Barrett, which is like the starting five a lot of us wanted, with the exception of Hartenstein. That's plus 17. Okay. Over 35, almost 40 minutes, 35 and a half minutes. That's plus 17. So also you take the lineup, the starting lineup, and you take out Fournier and you put in Emmanuel Quickly, it's plus 19. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, two things. The starting unit where he put Cam Reddish in there, that needs time to gel. Okay. He needs time to make an adjustment for the lack of Mitchell Robinson. And I'm seeing them look at film. I'm believing they studying this, and they're going to come out and try some things tonight against Minnesota, with the lack of Mitchell Robinson, with Hartenstein, because that's what they have. Now, Jericho Sims could jump out the roof, but if you want to be real, he is not a rim protector. He's not. Okay. Yes, he can get up and get some really highlight reel blocks and obviously the dunks, but overall at 6'10", he's not a rim protector. Okay. So that's going to hurt you. So you got to go small. You're going to use Hartenstein and then you're going to go small. So I expect to see more of the Obi Randall combination, and they're going to have to try to make up for the lack of a rim protector, because Randall's not a rim protector, right? Obi's not a rim protector, right? So they got to make up for the lack of that. That's something they're going to have to figure out on their schemes. That's probably what they're doing next, and they're going to try to work that out starting tonight. Now Robinson's not lost for the season. At least at this point, they listed as a sprained knee, and I saw the play where he sprained it, and he still played after he sprained his knee. He played for a while after that, trying to play on it, but it wasn't helping. So he was out. He was losing his mobility. He couldn't move. He was actually limping out there. So he sat. I'm hoping in a week, maybe, they said 7 to 10 days. Hopefully in a week, he'll be back and be healthy. He needs to just rest the knee. Okay. But until then, Thibs got to make some adjustments. So this is really an opportunity to have a backup plan if Mitch Rob is not available. Okay. And again, the lineup with Reddish, Randall, Hartenstein, Brunson, and Barrett is plus 17. Then again, if you don't want that, you can put Quickly in there. And when Robertson's back, you can put Quickly in there in place of Cam if you wanted to. That lineup is plus 19. Okay. So I'm liking the options, but we have to give it time to gel. We have to give them time, that is Thibodeau and his staff, time to work through the adjustment without Mitchell Robinson. When Mitchell Robinson's back, I think it's possible you could see Quickly start because of these numbers. You can't, these numbers don't lie. And, it is what it is. Now, if you take out Quickly and you put Reddish in there with Mitch Rob, they're still plus 19. So you can go either way. It's up to Thibs at that point, once they work this out, to decide who he wants on his bench unit. Because again, not only does he have a rim protector in his defensive lineup, he wants a rim protector, but he wants a strong bench. And the Knicks have Mobb Deep, the fourth best bench in the NBA. Okay. So he wants to keep that strong. So you have Obi there. And then you want to have either Quickly or Reddish. I would think you want Obi and Quickly together since they play so very well together. You want them together, on the second unit. That's why I think I would favor Reddish starting, even when Robinson come back, have Reddish start. Now, Grimes, I don't even think about Grimes yet. And I don't think Thibs does yet because he's not ready. He's just not ready. He's been hurt. And trying to plug him in ahead of time when he's not ready is a disaster. So let's just let him rest until his foot is 100%. Okay. That may take a minute to find out. But at this point, I think Thibs has to move on and deal with Reddish and Quickly in place of, the loss of, taking Fournier out the starting line. And as far as the center, he's got to move on with Hartenstein for at least a week. That's not permanent, but at least a week to see how he can recover from not having his rim protector in it. He depends on Mitchell Robinson. Okay. So that is the story. It doesn't mean Thibodeau doesn't know how to coach defense. Some of y'all need to stop tripping. Okay. It's because he's got to make adjustments. Mitch Rob, his cog in the middle is hurt. He's got to remove Fournier, which he did, which I'm very happy he did. And that's why I give him props. Usually he'll wait 20 games. He didn't wait 20 games this year. He saw Fournier was the weak link on defense, and immediately, within the first 7 games, he took him out. Okay, so let's let them develop their defensive schemes with the new lineup, the new set that he had. Cam Reddish, I always told y'all, cream rises to the top. Cam is showing forth that he belongs in the rotation, and now he belongs in the starting lineup with RJ. They play very well together. I'm liking this. So, in spite of giving up 133 and whatever they gave up before that, I'm looking at this as positive going forward. We just need to be patient, which I know is almost impossible for some of y'all. And we need to let Tom develop what he do. He do this. This is what he do. Defense. Let him develop that, and let's see what happens over the course of the week without Mitch Rob, because they got to play Minnesota tonight. They got the Nets. They got the Nets on Wednesday. And the Nets are in turmoil, but of course don't sleep on them because they're in turmoil. And then of course you got Detroit on Friday. You can't sleep on them at all. So we got Minnesota in Minnesota. We're really in Brooklyn. It's supposed to be an away game technically, but we know the Brooklyn game is like a home game for the Knicks. And then you're at home again against Detroit on Friday. So this is a good week for Tom to try to set some things up without Mitch Rob and try to, see what he can do defensively. This is where his staff comes in to help him. And they're going to work on these things. I'm very confident in that. The brother knows defense. Let him work out the kinks that he got to work out. Cam, I'm very excited about him using this week to get acclimated in the starting unit. I'm excited about that. My man Butter Bean. And so I think we'll be in good shape. But some of y'all need to stop tripping, stop using it as an excuse to crap on the person you hate, whether it's your wife or your girlfriend or whoever, to come in here and crap on somebody that's been defensive coach for 20 years and coach of the year twice. Stop tripping. He'll be all right. I hope y'all will. Anyway, we'll be watching the game tonight. Y'all have a good Monday. Shalom.